Good morning, fellow Ghanaians. This is Nii Amu Darko speaking on behalf of the African Reform Movement, the Army of Hope, and the team set to rescue, resuscitate, and restore Ghana. As you may all be aware, the Electoral Commission has proposed the 7th of November next year for elections 2016. What this means is that if Parliament approves this date, we may have a newly elected government in about a year's time. In response to that, the ARM will start a weekly video or audio conversation with the nation titled Ghana Montie, that is, Ghana Listen. I'll start in English, but very soon and eventually we'll add the major Ghanaian languages. The first edition of Ghana Montie will be titled Prolong Life, Don't Prolong Death. And I have conveniently divided this into two parts for clarity and focus. The first part, I call it the nature of the campaign. That will focus on the campaign that will lead to the elections. And of course, the second part is the conduct of the elections itself. Let's start with the nature of the campaign. Something new will happen in Ghana. In fact, something new has to happen because this present system is just not sustainable. A new wave of optimism will sweep across the land. A new ray of hope will enter the heart of the nation. A new shower of blessing will fall on the field that we have plowed and the seed that we have sown. ARM is the carrier of this new change, and the net outcome is a new hopeful Ghanaian having faith in himself and full of love for his nation. Many people have asked me, Ni obanye ube to me. This task is too big. Of course, this task is big. The challenge is huge. The impediment uncountable. But let me tell you something. Next year elections will not be about big versus small or huge versus tiny. It will be about the new versus the old. That is exactly what ARM will ask Ghanaians to decide on. As a physician, I intend to employ my medical, diagnostic, and therapeutic skills to solve political and socioeconomic problems because I know the similarity between the two spheres is very cunning. The two spheres are very similar. The physician is between life and death, as a politician is between prosperity and poverty. If you understand life and death very well, you are more likely to understand prosperity and poverty very well. As a matter of fact, they are metaphors of each other. If you have seen a patient who is terminally ill with incurable cancer, you can easily diagnose a nation whose political system is ill with incurable cancer. A senior colleague of mine recently advised me, per a terminal patient of mine that I have been transfusing in the last several months, just to keep him going. This man came into hospital a few weeks ago with a very low blood count. As I have been doing before, I decided to treat him with transfusion again. But then I realized he was too weak, too weary, and too worn out. I decided, therefore, this would be my last transfusion. I would organize a meeting with the family and tell them of this new plan of mine. To make matters easier for me, I saw the opinion of this senior colleague of mine, and he told me that, Nii, all that you have been doing, you have just been prolonging death. In medicine, we are trained to prolong life, but not to prolong death. Your decision to stop the transfusion is not only medically appropriate, that is the morally right thing to do. The family will agree with you. Go ahead and talk to them. I spoke to the family, the wife, the sister, and the nephew. And sincerely, they all agreed. They just said, look, we want a comfortable and a peaceful exit for this loved one of ours. Nii, no more transfusion. It is too precious to use to prolong a death which is inevitable. So the family agreed with me and my senior colleague. That is the point. You do not prolong death. You prolong life. This man died peacefully in his sleep 3 days after the last meeting. The political economic metaphor for this man is Ghana, a country whose political system is terminally ill. Our constitution, which is the blood of our democracy, is sick with incurable cancer. Top-ups or cosmetic reviews will not save it. The cancer of the constitution has rendered the whole body polity, weak, and dysfunctional. Like my old terminal patient, we cannot power ourselves. We call it doomsday. We cannot bath ourselves. That's our chronic water shortage. We cannot feed ourselves. We are bankrupt. We cannot think for ourselves. IMF drives our policies. And literally, we live on top-ups as handouts from IMF. The Ghana Montie conversation will be about whether we should prolong the death of this incurable cancerous system of ours, or whether we should allow it to die a peaceful, democratic death at elections 2016. I believe that, like the family of my patient, each and every one of you will agree with me that it is inappropriate to prolong the death of a comatose political order. I believe we all in unison say that the old must go and the new must come. This is what will characterize the whole campaign for next year's elections. And once that message has sunk in, and once the message has been accepted, the election itself will be smooth. That is what I foresee, and that is what will happen. Now, let me say some few words about the conduct of the elections. I know there is fear and anxiety already. I know the apprehension, especially of the parties which are in opposition, about the credibility of the voters' register. Some are calling for a new register, while others want purification of the present register. My view is very clear on this, but I'd like to say something here. Whichever way it goes, whether we get a new register or a purified register, I will not lose a second of sleep over it. The nature of the campaign will make all moves to rig the elections redundant. The choice of the people will be clear. Even without such clarity, I still believe the elections will be safe, free, and fair. It is God who appoints kings. Only God. He rules in the affairs of men, and he gives the kingdom to whoever he wills. God is the one who appoints kings. As it is written, it is not of him who wills. You can will, you can plan, but it is not of him who wills, nor of him who runs. You can make all the connections, do all you want to do, but it is not of you, and it's not of him who runs, but it's of God who shows mercy. The forces of nature, the guiding principle of the universe, providence, God, Allah, Mawu, whatever name you want to call it, has heard the cries of Ghanaians. And he has determined that next year is the year of destiny. He has put before Ghanaians life and death. It is up to them to choose which way they want to go. They vote for the old order, and it will lead to death. They vote for the new order, and life abundance will be their portion. It is therefore clear that anyone who tries to undermine the will of the people of Ghana and to frustrate the grace of God will be dealt with by the Almighty Himself. Anybody who tries to rig this election will not be fighting the people of Ghana alone. That person or group of persons will be fighting Almighty God Himself. That is why I am not worried. That is why you should not be worried. Brothers and sisters, wherever you are, do not worry about the election. The election will take care of itself. You just have to do one thing. Just intensify the campaign message. Let people know that there is hope. Let people know that there is an alternative. Death is not our portion. Life, abundant life, is our portion. Shout aloud wherever you are that you refuse to prolong death, but you will prolong life. Shout wherever you are that you refuse to promote death, but you will promote life. Shout wherever you are that you are determined to ditch the old and you are determined to vote for the new. That is what should be your concern now, because the elections will be safe, will be free, and will be fair. Twa Omanyaba.